Hey sailors, another update from the development of Sailaway 3. And this time I'm not going to show you all kinds of fancy stuff and look how beautiful this is and look how great I made this and whatever, because I didn't. What I'm going to show you is an old version of Sailaway, and that's made in 22 of July this year. Because, well, I will tell you later why. So first, this old version of Sailaway. I'll start it. And we wait a little bit for it to load. And here it is. And let's start the boat designer. Because that's what I've been working on for the past, I don't know how long. It seems like ages. I believe it's about 9 months or something. Or maybe even a year. I don't know. It's an impressive amount of code that I've written for this. So first of all, let's go to the settings of Sailaway, settings of the Caribbean Rose, and it will load the boat. Here it is, and show you some computations here. Now, well, you can upload your own 3D model in Sailaway. For instance, someone could make a boat that is more like a raft, and make it as fast as possible and maybe outrun an Ultim 3 trimaran. Therefore, Sailaway has to compute its own speeds for every boat, and that's difficult because it doesn't really know what boat you're uploading. It can be anything. So it has to evaluate the mesh and the model that you've uploaded, and it does so by measuring the length, measuring the beam, waterline, the draft, the height of the mast, everything, the wet area. So yeah, all kinds of things. Capsize screening formula, ballast ratio, sail area displacement ratio, displacement length ratio, all kinds of ratios, and from this it will compute the speed of your boat compared to other boats, compared to some polar diagrams, by using forces on the hull, wind resistance, water resistance, forward pushing force of the sail, sideways pushing force of the sail. All these things will determine the speed of your boat. So it's not as easy as just entering a polar diagram or showing you a polar diagram. So one of the most asked questions in Sailaway 2 is, can I have the polar diagram of this boat or of this boat? Sorry, there isn't. So you have to make it yourself, or I have to compute it for you, but it's not 100% correct. Another danger is that there will be boats that are super inefficient, because if you let 3D modeling programs do their job, and you end up with very low frame rates, and you end up with long loading times, and that's just not efficient. So every boat, I don't know if it's on this screen as well, every boat, no it isn't, will have something like a performance index, and that's not the performance on how fast it goes through the water, that's the performance on the impact on, it's more like the impact on performance of your computer when you run it or when you show it. And it's not just for you, because if you want a boat that has millions of vertices and runs really slow on all computers, but you have something like a mega computer and are not bothered by it, someone else will be, because he sails next to you and he still has to load, his program still has to load all the vertices of your boat in order to show it. And so therefore you have an impact on other people's performance as well. This is why there is a performance index, and when you buy a boat or obtain a boat, or some boats will be free, I don't know, then it will show you the performance index, and you know what you're dealing with beforehand. Most of the boats you will encounter are not 5 meters next to you. They will be further away on the horizon, or hundreds of meters from you away. So what computer programs do is they do not load the entire boat with all the details and all the trim lines and little shackles and things. It loads a diminished version of that boat. these LOD levels would have to be made again by the boat designer. They have to make a 3D model and shrink it down, make it a little bit simpler, remove all the small parts. And boat designers will have the tendency to add too much detail in these faraway boats. You can't see them anyway. There are just a few pixels on your screen. In order to force that and also to save the boat designers some work, these LOD levels are generated by Sailaway as well. So why did I show you this version of the project and not my current version of the project? Well, that's the reason for that is this: 272 errors. And these errors, you can see them here. Whoop. Look at that, look at that, look at that. Total disaster, you'd think. Well, it is a bit of a disaster, but I will be able to fix this. The reason is you have the boat designer, right? And a boat designer designs boat designs. You have a boat design, and that's what you are editing. But we also want to edit our own boat. We want to apply colors and textures on it, and we want to change the fittings and the trim lines. So part of this boat design, all the screens that I made, all the programs that I made to edit the materials, or to place a block somewhere or a shackle, all these functions have to be available for editing a boat as well as a boat design. And I already have it for boat design, and I don't want to copy it. So I want this to work with the same programs. And in order to do that, I will have to make an extra level between it. I should have thought of this before I started working on the boat designer, but okay. And the level between the user interface and the boat design class is boat. In the boat designer, it will have to send the messages from the user interface to a boat, a fake boat, and then to the boat design. And in the real and in the boat editor, when you're editing your own boat, it will send the messages from the user interface to your boat. So this boat class has to be placed in between, and that's what I've been doing. So here, for instance, you can see one of the classes, edit boat design settings. This is the one you just saw on the screen, by the way. So we have here two old lines of code where it communicates with a class named boat design, and there's two new lines of code where it communicates with a class named boat. And then the effect of that is that all kinds of errors will appear here. Boat design, oh, I don't know boat design. No, that's because I removed it. Oh, I don't know boat design. So I have to change all these things and make sure it works again. And the first error in this class is no, let me see, where is it? First error in this class is collect measurement info. So it asks the boat to collect the measurement info, and boat doesn't know how to do this. Boat design did know how to do it, but boat doesn't. So I have to copy stuff and divert things and say, oh, boat knows this, but boat design knows that, etc. So this week I have to make sure that this works again. All these 272 errors that you saw will have to be moved and will have to be gone, and then next week I can finish the editing of boats. And then in October I will plan a little holiday at the beginning of October, going scuba diving, really cool. And after that I will release the Alpha 2 version for some testers. Right now there are only 2 testers active, but there will be more testers then for designing boats and changing boats, and hopefully also some people that want to help me by placing fittings and trim lines on the existing Sailaway 2 boats, because I only have uploaded the models and they look like shit right now. So hopefully someone will help me with that, because that's a lot of work and would cost me 2 months to do that myself, and maybe you can help me with that. And after that, when it all works, I plan to release the boat designer. So not release Sailaway 3, but release the Sailaway 3 boat designer, and everyone can make boats and yeah, go nuts. So for now I will start working, make some coffee first. It's 10 o'clock in the morning, and I'm going to roll up my sleeves and get these 272 errors out of the way. Bye bye everyone.